Okay, you're watching this video because you have installed Python and PyScripter. Now let's talk about how to use these two programs. Python is a program that will run inside of PyScripter, so you'll never have to launch Python. Instead, you'll launch PyScripter. I have PyScripter pinned to my taskbar right here, so I can launch it here. If you don't have that done yet, you can simply click on the applications and it'll probably show up among the things that you've recently added. Another way to get to it is to search for it, and when you start typing in PyScripter, it will just pop up. Click on it and launch it. PyScripter is the program we're going to use with Python running inside of it. We see here that Python 365 is being used. What you'll see here is you have various windows for your file organization. If you wanted to open up a previous file that's already created, you have here the window where you're going to be adding code. Right now it just has a dummy module in there with some code that right now I don't want you to know anything about. Later on we'll learn how to make our own little template, and then we'll write programs from that template. In fact, I'm going to get rid of this module altogether. Now notice that that module went away without any fuss. But if I have a module and I add anything to it, I just added something and delete it. If I try to make that module go away, it's going to ask me if I want to save it first because I've made some additions to it. In this case, I'm just simply going to say no. What I want to do is pull up an existing Python program. Inside the installation folder that I gave you with the two install files, I also gave you two programs. So I'm going to go to the File menu and go to Open. It's already defaulted to those two programs, and they are Sample and Movies. Notice that both of these files end in .py. .py is the extension for Python programs. So I'm going to open up the sample program. When I open it up, I see the code in the coding window now, already here, ready to run. I do not expect you to understand anything about this code yet. We are simply opening it up so we can learn how to execute a Python program. Now that the program is open, I'm going to click on this little button here that looks like a little play button. That will allow the program to execute. When I click on it, the program starts to execute, and you see here a series of input statements. So the first one is asking me to put in a name. I'll put in the name, and then the hours. I'll put in the hours, and finally the rate, and I'll put in the rate. Down here at the bottom, you will see that there's some output printed out in this little window here. This is the output for the program. So now we have successfully executed a program. Now this program is one that I'm giving you to learn how to execute a program, but I'm pretty sure when you start writing your own programs, you will make some mistakes. Some of these mistakes are called syntax errors. For instance, right here with medical deductions, I put a dash there instead of an equal sign. Well, when I run this program this time with that play button, notice that the program stops on that particular line and will go no further, saying that there's an error that must be fixed before this program can run. So I will go up here, I will change that statement, and now the program is ready to run again. Okay? One nice thing that we'll talk about later on, and I will go into more depth about, is that you can run this program and stop it at any particular point and take a look at what it's doing while it's executing. The way to do that is to create something called a breakpoint. I will have a video explaining all of this in detail. But let's just look at how to create a simple breakpoint now. I click on this little blue dot and it toggles, changing to a red dot with a little check mark next to it. That tells the PyScripter that I want to stop on that particular line and take a look at what's going on in the program. Now, if I click on the regular run button, it will ignore that breakpoint. What I want to do is click on this run button that has a little bug. If you look at it real closely, you'll see it has a little bug on there that stands for debugging. So I'll click on it. The program is running. I'll type in the name, I'll type in the hours, and I'll type in the wage. And now the program highlights this line in blue to let me know execution has stopped at that point. If I hover my mouse over top of any variable that has a value in it, you will see that the value is being shown and the data type. If I put it on a variable that does not have a value in it, nothing is shown. So it's not until that variable has a value that the tooltip will allow me to see what's in it. Now, of course, you're not even sure what's a variable. A variable is just a memory location that holds a value, right? So we give these memory locations names. Those names are the variable names. If we drag our cursor across the ones that have values, you see the value. Ones that do not have a value yet, those memory locations are not populated. You don't see the value. So I'm going to just run the rest of this program to its fruition. And it ran and it showed me the output again. I can again take away that breakpoint and put it anywhere I want to stop the program and take a look at it. For instance, if I wanted to see what's in net pay, I could have created the breakpoint maybe here at the print statement. I will go through in detail how to use the debugger in a nice way to help you figure out what's going on in your program. So we have successfully opened up PyScripter, opened up a program, and ran that program. So what do you do now? Well, if I've made any changes to this program, if I attempt to close it, it's going to ask me to save it. So I'm going to cancel this. One thing I'll note though, whenever I make a change, the disk icon right here will appear. Once I save it, the disk icon goes away. If I make another change, it comes back. So even if you try to close this up, it's going to ask you to save it. But my suggestion is just go ahead and save it one last time before you even leave or quit the program. So now that the program is saved, I'm going to close it. I'm going to close up PyScripter. And notice if I reopen it with no program in it, it shows up with a dummy module again. But if I have a program in it when I close it up, when I reopen it, it will open up to that last program. And now you're all ready to try it yourself. Open up a program, run it, and see if you understand how to use Python and PyScripter.